G'day there, this is just another video trying to get used to OBS and just seeing how my voice is. So for this one we're just going to have a quick look at some of the Mac games that came out last month, August 2023. So we've got a little bit of variety this time. We've got Thronefall, we've got Dangerous, the Rumorside Triangulate, Book of Hours, Golfoot, BlazBlue, Entropy Effect, and LX2, and there are also a few others which I'll get to in a moment. So I'll start off with Thronefall first of all. This is an interesting little one. Give me a second. So Thronefall it actually came out in early August to very positive reviews. It's a minimalistic little city builder and tower defense game, and it actually looks quite nice. Looks very crisp and clear. Now, it's expected to be in early access for about 6 months to a year, and it currently has 4 playable levels as well as 36 unlockable perks and weapons, and it's made by Grizzly Games, who previously released Superflight in 2017. That's the flying suit game where you fly down procedurally generated mountains. You might have seen a fair few streamers use it as part of their, as part of just general chats or talking about various subjects. So the developers are quite active, and there's supposed to be another update coming out pretty soon. But it currently has about 2 to 4 hours of play, which isn't too bad considering the price. It's quite cheap. Now, it's available on both Windows and Mac, and the system requirements they're not too bad, to be honest. If you've got a computer that's about, 4 years old, it shouldn't, well, could be a little bit older than that. You shouldn't really have a problem running it, to be honest. There's not much I can really say about the system requirements. They're fairly low. So, with that, I'll move on to the next one. I'm not actually using videos at the moment, since I'm not entirely sure about if I'd get a copyright strike or anything like that. So at the moment, I'm just sticking with screenshots. So, alright, on to the next one. Now the next one's a bit of a double one. Now we've got Dangerous, the Rumorside Triangulate, and Homestar Runner, Halloween Hide and Seek, and they're both made by Vidalectrix. You've probably recognised that it's Strongbad's alter ego, Dangerous, and it's now I don't know a great deal about the Homestar Runner or Strongbad, to be honest. It's not something that I was interested in, but I know a few people out there are. So it's a remastered version of the Flash browser game, which was released back in 2008, with enhanced graphics and full voice acting, and has 3 mini episodes featuring Strongbad's alter ego, Dangerous, and Halloween Hide and Seek was originally released through itch.io in 2021, and is a short point-and-click title. You can see a screenshot of Halloween Hide and Seek just in the corner there. And the 2 previous screenshots are of Dangerous, the Rumorside Triangulate. Now, for the system requirements, they are, once again, they're very low, and partly because this is originally a Flash / browser-based game, they're really not very high at all. You shouldn't have a problem running either of them. Now, these requirements are actually for Dangerous. So they're actually even lower for Halloween Hide and Seek. So with that, I'll move on. Now, Book of Hours by Weather Factory. Now, you may or may not know Weather Factory. They're the team behind Culture Simulator, which is a very popular game. I've seen it mentioned quite a few times, and seen it advertised on Steam and the App Store. So I've never actually played it myself, but it looks quite interesting. And Book of Hours, it's a 20 to 40 card-based RPG, including where you have to help rebuild Hush House, the occult library, organise books, and build a collection of tomes and grimoires. Hopefully I got that right. As well as crafting inks, guiding any visitors, and studying the 9 wisdoms. It looks to have quite a lot of lore and interaction with it. It could be quite interesting for someone that wants to play a bit of a longer game. Now, the requirements, so it's available for Windows, Mac and Linux. Now, so the requirements are fairly pretty decent this time, to be honest. You'd want either Windows 10 or higher, as well as either Ubuntu 18.04, 20.04 or CentOS 7, although the developers have mentioned that those are the minimum requirements for the engine they use, and that it should work on other distros as well. So, processor 2 GHz or above, RAM 8 GB or above, graphics card either 4 GB or an integrated GPU that's made later than 2012, and it requires 5 GB of space. And it's the same for Mac. I'm assuming that the RAM there, I assume they actually mean 8, but they pressed the wrong key. It's easy to do, I have to say. So you're looking at macOS 12 Monterey, which is the one that came out, I can say last year, since this series isn't out yet. So, well, hang on. I'll shut up and try again. It's the one that came out in 2021. And it also needs 5 GB of space. So, it shouldn't be a problem if you've got a fairly new system, but you might want to double check just in case. So, graphics. You've probably seen this one. Is that so? It's been in development since 2017, and you've probably seen quite a few streamers playing it and getting into trouble with it. It's one of those that would probably ruin friendships, to be honest. But so it actually has quite a very good multiplayer, supporting over 30 players in various mini golf stages across a variety of biomes and settings. So it's got 8 official courses, including one that came out with the launch, which is a water-themed one, as well as and there's also different themes, challenges, and mechanics in the courses. Plus, there's been over 15,000 maps made by the community available through Steam Workshop. So it should be plenty of variety there for you. Now, it's recently received a pretty major codebase overhaul, which improved loading time. They've redesigned the UI and added controller support, among a fair few other things. Now, system requirements. Now, it's available for Windows and Mac, and you'd be looking at Windows 7 or above, 2 GHz processor or above, 4 GB of RAM, 1 GB GPU, and 15 GB of space. So it's probably the most demanding one I've covered so far, but there's more to come. Once again, macOS Big Sur, so that one came out in 2020. 2 GHz processor, 4 GB of RAM, AMD Radeon Pro 5500M. So basically, any MacBook Pro made since 2019 should be able to run it, and 15 GB of space. Hadean Tactics by Emberfish Games. It's a roguelike deck builder that's left early access after 2 years. It features 3 heroes and over 260 cards. And so it has over 50 monsters and 9 bosses to fight, plus 34 crucible units, as well as procedurally generated paths and a wide variety of relics, as well as semi-real-time combat. and with it you explore hell and engage the 6 rings in battle as part of your explorations. It has a very detailed little deck system. You can see here we've got some enchantments, some talents, a spell, and a ailment. Just looking at the custom deck screen here. System requirements so it's available for Windows, Mac and Linux, Windows 7 and or Ubuntu 12.04, dual core 2 GHz processor, 4 GB of RAM, NVIDIA 8600 or 9600 GT, or AMD Radeon HD 2600 or 3600, and 4 GB of space. So it's honestly, it looks to be about 2013 system, and it looks to be similar to for the Mac side as well. Mac OS 10.9 Mavericks just requires a dual core processor, but I'll show you my dual core 2.8 GHz processor as well, same as Windows. 4 GB of RAM, NVIDIA 320M or AMD Radeon 2400. Intel HD integrated graphics 3000, and 4 GB of space. So again, if you're looking at an older system, that should be able to run it. So if you've got something made since, I don't know, 2017, it should be able to run it pretty easily without any trouble at all. Decarbonise by Charles Games. It's you might have seen it on the Steam front page. It's a free strategy card game where you fight climate change and help deal with emissions, either emitted by people or industries or natural events or things like that. So it's got over 200 cards, including inventions, laws and industry, and it has a pseudo-random world which reacts to different actions, including catastrophes and unrest. So we've got here, so it looks like you're able to upgrade your cards as well. I've actually got it in my library. I haven't played it yet, but it looks to be a interesting one. And for the price, I mean free, it's probably worth having a bit of a squeeze out, I reckon. Available Mac forms, once again, Windows and Mac. Windows 10 for the OS, a 1.6 GHz processor, 8 GB of RAM, Intel HD graphics 530, and 180 MB of space. And the requirements are basically the same for Mac OS, 10.13 High Sierra, 1.6 GHz processor, 8 GB of RAM, HD graphics 530 and 180 megabytes of space. So a very low end system should be able to run it without any dramas. BlazBlue Entropy Effect by 91 Act. Now the BlazBlue series is a popular one in Japan, but not one that I know a great deal of. So it's a roguelike action game spin-off of BlazBlue that launched in early access, I believe, around the middle of August. It doesn't look too bad having a look at it. So it's expected to launch fully launch in the first quarter of 2024, and it is officially licensed with the original storyline in the world setting, and it features 7 characters and 4 stages, as well as over 50 enemies and 10 bosses. As well as I've heard of a combo system as well. It's been getting a good reviews on Steam. I haven't actually given it a go myself, but I might have to look at it. It doesn't look too bad. So it's coming out for Windows and Mac, as well as iOS and Android in China as well. So for the system requirements, we're looking at Windows 7 with an Intel Core i3 processor, 4 GB of RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 950, and 8 GB of space. And as for the Mac side, we're looking at macOS 10.13.6 or higher, High Sierra, a dual-core 2.4 GHz processor, 4 GB of RAM, 8 GB of space, and they recommend a system like a MacBook Pro 2018 or later. So if it's a system from this decade won't have any trouble running it at all. Town of Salem by Blank Media Games LLC. So it's a sequel to the popular strategy game released in 2014, based on the party games at Werewolf and Mafia, which if you haven't played, they're social deduction games where you have the townsfolk, you have, as well as a variety of different roles, and you have the assassin or the werewolf or the killer, and they kill one person each night unless they're correctly identified and banished or disposed of themselves. So you could think of Among Us as having a bit of an influence from it as well. So it's a free-to-play online strategy game that entered early access in May 2023, left early access in October, and it supports up to 15 players as well as private lobbies and map modifiers, including adding or removing additional roles. There's also a variety of factions there as well to further spice up gameplay. System requirements there, once again, they're not too bad. Windows 7, 2 GHz processor, 8 GB of RAM, 2 GB GPU, and 60 GB of space. And I'm going to say the same again for macOS. So it'd be looking at, I'll say probably a 2015, 2016 Mac could be able to run it, I would say. Now let's move along. So, this one was a bit of a surprise. Flat Out 2. It originally came out back in 2006 by Bugbear Entertainment, but it received a surprise update, bringing it to 64-bit and make it Apple Silicon native. So the newer Macs are able to run it very well, actually. So yes, that was very out of the blue. I've been playing a decent little bit. It's a very fun little racer. So it came out back in 2006 for the PC, PlayStation 2 and Xbox, and it was rated as one of the best racing games for the year. It's got a very nice little heavy metal soundtrack. Granted, I'm a bit of a fan of heavy metal myself, so able to ram your opponent's cars and obstacles out of the way, including any glass panes and chairs. You got your stunt mode, your demolition derby. It's a lot of spashy crashy. It's very good fun. So, as you can tell by the available platforms that came out on quite a few back in the day, Windows, Mac and Linux, the original Xbox, the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 2 and the PSP. Now, the system requirements differ a little bit here. So on Steam, it's Windows XP SP2 or higher. I'd like to assume you're running something a bit newer than that nowadays. 2 GHz Pentium 4, 256 megabytes of RAM, 64 megabyte GPU, and 3.5 gigabytes of space. Now, because of the update, the Mac updates, the macOS requirements have jumped up a bit. So you'll be looking at a Apple Silicon Mac running Big Sur or later, so 2020. And 2.8 gigabytes of free space. Now, for Windows, it's available on Steam. For Mac, it's available through the Mac App Store, and through Linux, it's available through Good Old Games. Now, Elix 2. Elix 2 by Piranha Bytes. It came out last year for Windows, and it was shown off at WWDC. This year for macOS. It's a very pretty looking game, actually. So you've got your little jetpack there, which more games than it need, I suppose, to help travel around the map. And you've got the rather ugly little monster there. Looks like it's going to get its head bashed in by a mace, I would say. So it's equal to Elix, made by Piranha Bytes. They've won a fair few awards. They've and my brilliant proofreading there. They've made the Gothic and Risen series, and you help convince the factions to unite against a new threat while searching for the hero's missing son across the handcrafted world. I should have actually meant, the handcrafted world of Magellan. Yep, Magellan. Yep. I've practiced reading this, so I'm sure you can tell. It's probably the most demanding game for this month, actually. Windows, Mac, Xbox One, Xbox Series SRX, and PlayStation 4/PlayStation 5. You're looking at Windows 10 with an AMD Ryzen 3 or Intel Core i5 7400 with 12GB of RAM and a AMD Radeon RX 5600 XT, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060, and 45GB of free space. So it's a bit more of a demanding game, to be honest. And for the Mac side, we're looking at macOS 12.4 Monterey and 38.5GB of free space. So you'd be looking at basically any Mac released since with any M1 or later Mac. Alright, so now Somebody Amigo, Party of the Go by Sega America. So this is a Apple Arcade release of the Action Rhythm series, which has 40 songs in it at the moment. I've heard a lot about the series, but I'm absolutely terrible at playing rhythm games. I can't play them to save my life, sorry. But yes, the series is about 20 years old. It's actually an interesting one. It's got the series first story mode, and in it you're helping Amigo, the character in the little banner there, return lost music to his world while meeting new characters and exploring his hometown. And you've got a range of customizations, including sound effects, costumes, and accessories to unlock. So, as an Apple Arcade release, it's on Mac, iOS, and Apple TV. You're looking at iOS 13 or tvOS 13, or macOS Big Sur, and 2.2GB of free space. So, some honourable mentions. I couldn't really fit them in, but I'll quickly touch on them anyway. So we've got A Guidebook of Babel by Starry. This is a interesting little game about life and death. It was shown off at the 2022 Nintendo Indie World Showcase. You've got Lilith Wants to Buy Your Soul by Pion Platinum. It is a personality test with a not clingy demon/imp girl. And she certainly seems innocent enough. We've got Mists of Rules by Sugarcane Games, which is a text-based adventure game set in a world of ghosts and urban legends. So, these games here are really on the lower end, so they shouldn't really give many systems much trouble at all. And you've got Looper Tactics, which is by I tried to translate this. But my Chinese is basically non-existent. It is, let me see, by The Fragrance of Ink is the Same as Before, or by, my Chinese is really dodgy, to be honest. Where is it? Here we go. Or by The Fragrance of Ink is As Old as Time. Well, I'm really not sure how it translates to. So, that's just a quick look at what came out for this month. It's a decent little section there, and we've got quite a bit coming out this month. We recently had Lies of P come out. We've got Baldur's Gate 3 coming out in a few days, and we've got Death Stranding and Resident Evil 4 come out later on this year as well. So it's looking quite interesting for this part of the year. So, alright, there's a lot of work to do with this, but this is really more just to get me used to talking and seeing how much interest or curiosity there is. And alright, thank you for listening. And yes, I'll probably do another one of these next month. I'll try to make it a bit actually earlier in the month. And yes, I'll probably see you next time. Alright, thank you.